Okay, so welcome to this week's Code Cookie. Here with you again, we have Carl-Fredrik and Daniel from Visma Spcs. And this week we will be zooming in on the onboarding process and wrapping up this whole interview segment. So Carl-Fredrik, do you have, perhaps you could show us the onboarding process?
Yes, I will show you what we have done so far, at least. We have a quite big onboarding process with a lot of teams involved in various stages in the onboarding process. But before we started with Zervicepoint, we had a template form in our service desk solution, which was very simple. The users entered the name of the person who was about to start, when they should start, what type of equipment they needed, and what type of access they needed when they started. We had some automated tasks based on that template to create an entry card for them with a photo and so on. So when we started with the Zervicepoint, we wanted to replace that service as close as possible to start with, and then extend that process as we go. So what we have done so far is a very small onboarding process, which really just collects the user data, personal number or social security number, first name, what you are called, tilltalsnamn in Swedish.
Yeah.
Last
help
name.
you with that translation.
Yeah, I think it's a very Swedish thing, tilltalsnamn.
Yeah.
Start date for the employment, what role you have, department, manager, cost center, and location. And then we have some requests on what kind of access they need. Our external ticketing system for Visma Spcs customers, which is called Mind internally, if they need a sales number, if they need access to our financial system, if they need access to our approval system, and of course, same access as someone who's already existing, because that simplifies the service a lot. So that's pretty much a very simple form that the manager uses to start with. Once they have entered that data, it goes into the workflow where we use some functions to get the facility users who will manage some parts of the form. We get the automation users who will handle some other parts of the form, like the access parts. We get the valid dates. So what date is it today? A reminder date, the employment date from the drop-down, a reminder date for 14 days. It was supposed to be 30 and 14 days, but we have changed that. So we have a JavaScript code that will find those dates for us, enter them into variables that we use in a conditional service. So when the reminder date is today, it will take the next step and return the form to the person who has requested the service. So the system requester email. If we go back to the form editor, we have a facility order. So this is where they place the facility related order. So we already have the name of the user. We enter the gender and size of the person, so they can get a Visma branded craft sweater when they start. And we have a file part where we upload a picture of the user for the entry card. And once that's completed, we go into the, let's see, here we are. We send the task further. So we run this JavaScript a couple of times just to progress the order, and we inform the user when the order will actually be placed through a status that we set. And we send also an information that they should order a computer, a phone subscription, and peripherals to the requester as well. So they will go back into another form, which is the order computer, and we pick up the already completed fields. But
does
here,
this go to the manager or the one that initialized the order?
Yeah, the one that initialized the order. So what we are doing here is that we don't actually collect what items they want. We just inform them that this is the one. It's time to order a computer, phone, etc., and we link to those services. And the reason for that is because we haven't had a time to write an integration with we are using the product catalog with Atia as a provider, and right now that service returns only the service ID. So we have to write a backend functionality that picks up the service ID and the product number of the item that is supposed to be ordered. But since we haven't gotten that far yet, we are just linking to the services where they can select what computer, what phone, and so on they want to order. So they place those as separate orders and then just check that they have completed that section, and then the order will be processed further. On to the next step, which is a reminder to order flowers and lunch to the new employee. So that is the final step, that the manager should fix this before the employee starts.
It's nice you get a lot. You already have a lot of soft values in here, like flowers and the T-shirt from Craft and lunch even.
Yeah, we try to do a lot, as much as possible for our new employees to have a good start when they come to Visma Spcs.
I have a technical question here because you work a lot with dates and you have code activities to calculate dates. What happens if someone tries to order someone to start just 7 days from now?
That's not possible because there is a restriction on the date field. So when we go here, we have a restriction on that one. So they are unable to select a date which is before 14 days, I think, 12 or 14 days before or after today.
Okay, so that's very good that you stop those orders directly in the form because they wouldn't work in the workflow.
Oh, exactly, and that is something that we noticed during the pilot of this service, that we had actually missed a number in the deduction of days. So some orders were placed out of date, and the workflow trigger didn't trigger as expected. So we had to cancel those orders and replace them.
But it's a very good example of how you can force your workflow rules into the form and make sure only good data makes it. So good use of JavaScript there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to leave the onboarding process for now. I could probably talk about it quite much, but I think you have made. You talked about it being a small process, but I think actually have quite many steps in it. And what will be the first improvement you do to the process?
Yeah, it's we have a lot planned, at least. We have both the computer part, which we will integrate with Dell, so we can get automation in that. And then it's more and more HR processes that we want to connect to this new employee, like putting them up in our personal data system, so they get an account created for them. More along those lines.
Mm. And the salary system, perhaps?
Yeah, exactly. So we are still waiting on HR to catch up and have time to do all the fun stuff with us.
Mm. Okay, so it's very inspirational. I know Visma delivers many of those systems themselves as well.
Yeah, some of the Visma companies do. Since we have a lot of companies, we all deliver different type of products.
Okay, so thanks for that little view of your onboarding process. Very insightful, and I think many people will appreciate that you show it for us, because it's very hot right now with the onboarding processes.
I can imagine.
And if we look into the future, what do you think the future holds for Zervicepoint at Visma SPCs?
I think it's a lot. We have tons of requests with the different services and templates that different departments want to create to make their work life easier. We have economy that wants to, I think it's 3 or 4 templates that they want us to create for them, for ordering new cost centers and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say that sky is the limit. Yesterday we were starting to discuss reports as a service. So RAS functionality built into Zervicepoint, where you can order or filter and create your own reports based on predetermined specifications. So the most commonly ordered extracts of data.
Okay, that's that's a completely different video, but it sounds very interesting.
I said sky is the limit.
Yeah, you did. Good point. Okay, so where do you see that Zervicepoint could be even more beneficial in your organization? Kind of goes into the last question, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. It's we can see from our point of view, we can probably implement Zervicepoint in most department at Visma Spcs. But it's a tough question.
Mm. Yeah, I see that, and also it's it goes into the 2 previous questions actually. So, but it sounds like you guys have a lot of work on your table in the future. So
Yeah, we do.
So it will be very interesting in following you guys and see what you come up with next. And with that, I want to thank you for your time, and thank you for your transparency, and for sharing with everyone what you have produced so far.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right. So to you viewers, I say bye for now, and catch you in a couple of weeks. Have a great time.
Thank you very much, Erik. It's been fun.
Thank you.
And we'll talk later.
Will do.